Hey YouTube, good morning. It's Sunday morning and I've already put out the unprotected left video, and Elon replied to a tweet talking about the unprotected left-hand turns, and that my turn, specifically addressing it, will mostly be solved with 10.13. So that was very exciting to see. And for those of you that have ever gotten a reply to an Elon tweet, I can vouch that your phone and your notifications blow up. Unbelievable how much interaction happens when Elon responds to a tweet that you write. In any case, let's do a version 12.2 Memorial Park Drive, get a little bit more routine driving on 12.2. Here is our famous unprotected left turn situation, but looking for a right turn here. And let's see how the creep goes. It was a commit. Okay, wide open to the left, no traffic. And it went for it. Stayed in the right lane, which is exactly what I would expect and want it to do. Couple updates here at the beginning of this drive. So I did mention my HDMI mod broke yesterday. The soldering pads that I did myself came loose, and when I went back to try to fix it, whatever, I'm 52 and my eyes aren't as good, and soldering things that are that tiny just didn't go well. So that mod is broken for the moment, so I'm doing kind of the old school screen explosion here. Hopefully that's adequate. I am going to get another HDMI mod done though, and I'm talking to the fellow that does them for hire, and I'm going to go ahead and pay him to do it, which I really appreciate him taking the time to do that for me. In any case, I also have done some drives on that unmarked road street yesterday. I don't have a video of that yet. Maybe I'll get one done, but it did behave much better, hugging the right edge of a road with no curb. So for those of you that are curious about my unmarked road scenario, there was definitely some improvement, which was actually the point of the tweet that Elon responded to. I was trying to make some comments about some things I definitely am seeing improved. In any case, most of the issues that I've seen on this version, okay, a little bit of a phantom brake there. I'm going to tag that. I didn't see what it saw, but it hit the brakes hard with those cars coming around the corner there. Probably a little bit of what lane were they in. Had a car cross ahead of me there, which was good. Just a little bit of a brake tap. I'm going to do the disengage and turn to the right here that I've done before, just to force the planner in a different direction. Interesting, that braking. I don't know that I would call that phantom. I guess you could, but obviously the car saw something that it felt the need to slow down for. And I guess this week we also did learn that NHTSA has contacted Tesla and with a required response time about phantom braking complaints that are creeping in there. Those of you that have been watching these videos for a while and driving autopilot or even FSDBeta know that phantom braking has kind of evolved inside of the both using radar, integrating radar with vision, and then removing radar and only using vision. It's just kind of iterated, you know, to completely solve it. All right, facing the sun, a lot of illumination here. And actually, because I'm doing this screen, I am going to set my brightness at 100% here so it doesn't change. Protected left arrow here. Nice acceleration. Let's see if it goes wide. It didn't really go wide at all that time. That was good. Okay, so that turn was fine. We do have some construction up here. If you see this right here, there's a lot of cones and a lot of traffic. There used to be a light, and actually in the past my car has run this light, but now there's a roundabout. So we've got a construction zone, a new roundabout, and map data that does not show it yet. So this is a great example of how vision will hopefully take over map data that is bad. And Elon even commented on that yesterday too. So I'm going to leave the map up here just so you can see how it handles it. But all of these barrels, of course, do introduce a little bit of variability that may or may not succeed. Let's just see. Slow down. All right, it's mapping the circle, but you see there is no circle here. It's got to yield. Didn't need to stop. There's nobody behind me, so I'm just going to let this play out. There's no cars, no traffic. It stopped. It's not going. That's unfortunate. It looks like it's got a good path here. These trucks are kind of coming around. Let's see if after these cars come, if it proceeds. It's stuck. Another car. I hear the brake popping a little bit. That car went all the way around, interestingly. Oh, now it's going. I wonder what it was waiting on. Okay, kind of went over the curb there a little bit. It was a very flat curb, not like a high curb. Maybe it was just waiting on zero traffic. But I did not intervene. I did not tap the accelerator. It figured it out. If there had been cars behind me, I wouldn't have waited that long. So that was, okay, look, it's stopping here at the pedestrian crosswalk. Ooh, now it's going. Let's see. It needs to go to the right. Slow. Oh, pedestrian crosswalk. It treated that pedestrian crosswalk as a stop. Not exactly what it should have done. It didn't do anything unsafe, though. And it navigated an unmapped scenario very well there. Like that. In high traffic scenarios, I probably wouldn't have been able to be that patient. Because there was definitely no legal reason to stop in those no traffic scenarios. So there's room for improvement. Processing speed, bandwidth, I'm not sure what it is that it would need to, to get there, but it did it in a no traffic scenario. Here's a blinker on the S-curve again. That's been there for many versions. It does not need to use blinkers on an S-curve. It's not like it's an intersection. Another blinker there. Not too bad on the S-curves there. It was nice. It adjusted speed appropriately. Only thing was the blinkers. Okay, now we're coming up on Avondale here. A little bit of a high density, a lot of people getting coffee, pedestrian risks, things like that. Parked cars on the side of the road. Maybe we'll get to see an open door icon on this build. Slowing. They got a biker over here. Maybe it was slowing for that. Not sure what that slowing was. Got a pedestrian on the right side over here. Didn't acknowledge that at all. Got a car backing out up ahead in the distance. It's got it mapped well in the distance. Some people crossing the street outside of the crosswalk. Straight on through. Lots of stuff going on the visualization, which I'm not looking at, but that looked like a really good display there. Hey, it did fine there. Didn't really have to interact with anything. Used the right speeds. On the visualization, there is a lot more identification of blue cars, and I did notice it on my unprotected left turn yesterday. So the developers in the past have told me that blue cars mean nothing more than a vehicle of interest. So of interest is vague enough to mean that it could be many different things. So there isn't a specific definition of what blue means other than of interest, and they're piling things on like, we're looking for what this car might be doing here or there. But the fact that there are more blue cars than there used to be means they are at least tracking more vehicles of interest than they used to be able to, if there's a one-to-one correlation of the colors on the display they show us. Yellow flashing light here. 31, didn't even pause on that one. Proceeded straight through it. Nice. So I guess the number of blue cars increasing could mean that they've added additional bandwidth of tracking vehicles of interest. Perhaps it's just a display modification of what they're showing us, but I'd like to think it correlates a little bit to an increased bandwidth of tracking. All right, this is always a good intersection. It's a stoplight with a protected left turn, but very quickly I have to get over and into the right lane. And if there is traffic, which there isn't right now, sometimes it gets itself in a jam here. Let's see how quickly it gets over. Not bad. That was good. it identified the blue lane early, and that was a couple of releases ago. Okay, got a good stop here, legal right on red, creeping for visibility, looking, it's wide open, no traffic here. I might be out a little too early on Sunday morning for lots of traffic. 10 o'clock. So this is a low density traffic video here, which usually improves its performance. Of course. Okay, let's see. Okay, two bad ones there. Change lanes and change back. Not sure why it needed to do that. You can see the planner's got it going straight ahead here. A little bit of lane confusion. The visualization of putting the blue overlaying the lane is also a new indicator that helps me understand, at least when I see why it's doing something. In fact, it was thinking it needed to jump over into that lane. Lots of pedestrians to see today. We've driven by a few of those. I gotta get used to not pointing at my screen like I used to when I had my HDMI mod working, because obviously you didn't see my finger in front of the display when I was extracting it via HDMI. But now that I'm recording the screen, I don't want to block it as much as I might normally. Pedestrian with a dog to the right. Didn't see the dog. More pedestrians over on the sidewalk. Nobody crossing here. And just past this light, which just turned yellow, we are at our initial destination. Yeah, the resolution on these cars in this traffic has definitely improved. Higher contrast with a little bit more shadowing involved. A lot of us have seen some phantom cars showing up though, or really, really stretched cars. I don't know if we'll get one on this video or not. If we do, I'll try to point it out. But it's like it puts a car in a weird spot and it stretches it unproportionately large. Lots of pedestrians, that's good. And here is our initial destination. So I will disengage there and then manually kind of do a little summary here. So low traffic. I do have a runner here. I'm gonna let him go. I'm driving, not the car at the moment. But I'm pretty happy with it. I think that the low traffic scenarios obviously makes it easier, and you kind of get to see a little bit more about what the car is doing on its own. The unmapped traffic circle was reassuring, albeit not perfect because it was stopping in areas that it did not need to stop. But at this point, improving the behavior to even do it reliably, I think is the accomplishment here. I think including traffic introduces so many variables that we just need more time to get all that to work itself out. Elon is promising 10.13 will have, a lot of no mapped improvements. And he even mentioned parking garages, navigating to a pin. When and if that happens, that will be amazing. That'll really unlock the summon, reverse summon sort of stuff that we've been hoping for. All right, I've got my FSD return in here. We will engage leg 2 and see how it does. So this is this kind of funny hard left intersection here, kind of blocked visibility from this point, but it's got to creep out slowly. It's wide open, of course, so it's going to get it. Nice. There's a car approaching from the right, but it didn't hesitate. It went for it. No traffic, didn't have anything to fight with, and it was safe to proceed. I like that. Sometimes I wonder, that commit speed scares me if there is cars there. Sometimes I'm not reassured that it will stop in time without putting me actually in the road. But in that scenario, it was clear. Lots of pedestrian mapping today. Unnecessary blinker there. I was just checking to see where the route was taking me so I can ensure we're going down the route I would want to take. Lots of overhead shadows on the road right now, and it seems to be doing a pretty good job. Okay, we got a light, straight, proceed through. Here's what we're doing with the lead car. This upcoming curve has had some hugging differences in the past. Let's see what it does here on this curve with these parked cars. How tight, even cross the yellow line a bit. So that's good. I say good because there was no oncoming car, but when it goes around that curve, it was sort of giving the parked cars a little bit more room. As long as it doesn't cross the yellow line when an oncoming car, has the right of way, I'm okay with giving extra room to those cars in case a door opened. Now I do have a warning, changing lanes away from cones. I have no cones, so I don't know if that warning may have been there for a second. I'm just gonna hit my turn signal for a second and see if that warning goes away. It didn't. Interesting. All right, slowing down for this car here. Looking good. Keep checking our route. The lane centering is feeling good to me right now. I know in the past we've talked a lot about using the whole space. If there's parked cars hugging the left line, it hugs too close, it goes too far over, it weaves. It's doing really good right now, managing the bias between the yellow line and all of the available space over to the right where cars may or may not be parked. It's not doing any sort of weaving right now. Good here. This alert about the cones is kind of stuck. Can't seem to get that to go away, even though it's blinking and everything, so kind of a little bit of an artifact, I guess. Turning left here. Needs to creep for visibility on this turn. There's some hedges to the left I can't see beyond. I'm looking forward. It's wide open to the left and to the right. No traffic turns are always good. It's always interfering with traffic where I start to worry. Yeah, doing really good with these parked cars in the yellow line. We got a set of double yellows here. As we approach them, it's doing 31, 32 miles an hour. Didn't even pause. Still showing some red in there intermittently. Another Tesla. All right, here we've got a jogger not jogging on the sidewalk. Definitely mapped a path around him, even to the crossing of the line. That was really, really good. No traffic to really go around, meaning like there was no oncoming traffic it needed to yield to. It used the lane as if it had the right of way to cross the yellow line to give more room to the pedestrian. There was a lot of notes about improved handling around VRUs, which is essentially bikes, pedestrians, things in the road. That definitely was evident there. Okay, looks like our route is perfect for what I want. So where we're going now, you see these construction signs again. We're going back into that traffic circle scenario where we did the pauses before. It is driving straight through here, so it was just slowing down for them. School zone here that is not flashing. It's Sunday. Have not ever seen it acknowledge a flashing school zone speed limit, and as you can see, it did not see that or recognize that sign. Speed limit of 20 was mapped right there. It did not see that sign, interestingly. I wonder if it was because a little bit of a non-standard font. All right, let's pay attention here because we got a little bit more traffic. I've got to yield. There's nobody behind me. See if it does the turns here, okay? Is it okay? These people are taking their, these guys are acting like they have just as much right of way to me, but that's what a traffic circle does. You just go when you can. Very hesitant here. Nobody behind me. It's doing just fine though on the lateral. It's just its speed and commit was a little bit different. That was really good. Okay. All right, that was not good though. All right, so it wants to get over here because of the barrels. Now, I can't do that, and it had to go this way. So the barrels gave it the disengagement there because it wanted to take this turn, and it wasn't honoring the barrels. That was unexpected, at least where my mind was, but I should have known better because it knew where it wanted to go, and sometimes when those barrels are spaced out, it thinks it can go between the barrels. It does not have a good way of visualizing barrel sequence to create a new drivable space boundary by connecting the dots big pothole, it should have avoided that one. Okay, I'm gonna move on and refocus on where we are. So this is an unprotected left turn across my highway. We do have a wheelchair out here in the street and did not give that person the space I would have. So this is an unprotected left turn across Roosevelt Boulevard, which is the same road as my typical one, but I do have a stoplight here to the left that can break the traffic if it needs it. There's a very small gap here. It cannot go. Okay, yeah, it didn't see that car. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed manually here. So it wasn't honoring that car that was behind the light pole. That was a pure visibility aspect. We'll have to look at that in post and see why it went for that. Okay, so while we're at this light, I want you to look at the visualization here with this fuel truck that's up here that's being mapped occasionally and then being stretched to try to map what it is. It had it right a second ago that it was a truck, and it started expanding and shrinking the size of it in order to best represent it. Now it's just got it as kind of a stretched and squashed SUV. This is a new behavior in this version. And here's this phantom car sort of scenario we just showed there a second ago. I have a car next to me, and it was imaging a car on the other side that was flickering in and out. Same over on the right side of the screen right now. Now it has the truck. The truck is back. Let's see if it turns back into a truck when it gets a different perspective. It never came. There it was. It did. Lots of things going on in that visualization right now. I think it's an improvement. It's trying to better identify things. It's changing size of the icons versus stacking multiples, which is a better visualization. Might not need to see quite all of the fluctuations as much long term. We'll see if confidence continues to build. For those of you that are interested in locality, I just passed by the gas station, and it is $4.73 a gallon here in Jacksonville at that gas station right now. And since we're coming up on kind of the last few minutes of this drive, I kind of like to have a little bit of gamification of watching these videos. If there's still people watching this video after probably a half an hour of Memorial Drive and back, if you put $4.73 a gallon in the comments, I know you watched it all the way through. Not that you need to watch these videos all the way through. Some people have mastered it with 2-3 times speed, and I know what people are trying to extract from these videos varies probably to the person, and I'm the same way. There's a certain amount of information I want, and I get it sometimes at 1.5 speed or 2 speed. But sometimes when I really pay attention, I watch things over and over and over to try to see what is actually happening. So that's the Easter egg for this video, $4.73 a gallon. We only have one more left turn to do. The rest of this is straight traffic, so I think I'm going to start summarizing. I'm really happy with this build. I mean, obviously it tried to jump out and do an unprotected left turn in front of a car right there that was going about 50, 55 miles an hour. That's not good. But like I said in that tweet to Elon, the unprotected left is the Kobayashi Maru right now. It's just the, you know, the hardest of the hard for the systems and the sensors and everything that this car has. I'm even proud of the fact that Elon said it'll solve the, you know, 10.13 will solve the turns most of the time. That's much better than saying, you know, it'll have it solved, or, you know, it's mind-blowing, or all those other sort of superlatives that go on to some of the tweets that happen. So I'm really, really glad there's a little bit of kind of acknowledgement of it being a hard problem there. I think the regular traffic and in low traffic scenarios, it did really good. It's behaving better. The bias on the road centering is good. Blinkers are still a little bit of an issue, and the devs have told me in the past that that's a harder problem to solve than most people would realize, which is always insightful to makes you wonder, why is it so hard? And I'm not one to probably be able to articulate it. So we do have a forward-facing, unprotected left-hand turn here. It should just roll this behind this car. Completely stop, but pre-roll, commit. That was fine. That was really, really good, actually. So I'm okay with that. Forward-facing left turn. All right, that is all I've got for you guys today. I think we saw some good stuff here. Leave comments below. Let me know what you think. I do take your feedback seriously, and I do try to improve. I hope everybody has a great Sunday, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.